Hello, I'm live. Whoa, good. Hello, Wanda Mackenzie. Grand Rising. Still not sure about that. Yvonne, yeah, I'd love to be Ian Clark as well, but I don't think he's not showing up yet. How you guys doing? I'm back on YouTube. Is that something to celebrate? I was quite enjoying Rumble. Say what you want on Rumble. By the way, talking of which, if you guys don't know, I got struck down by the lords of YouTube a week ago for medical misinformation. For a video that I did with my friends Lewis Herms, Carol Marine Friesen, and Al Pasoni. And it got struck down with great vengeance because they didn't like it. Oh, there's loads of people suddenly here. Oh, life is a bowl of cherries. How you doing? Kathy Childers, Ashland, Kentucky. I used to love Kentucky Fried Chicken when I was a kid, before I understood about oils and fats and chickens not being chickens, that kind of thing. Penelope Shatford. That's a great name. That is a great name. I've got a really good story about half of your surname, which I'm not going to share on YouTube. Gary Michael Tuttle, another great name. Sandy Hunt. Hello. Tanya Chambers. How's it going? So it is. I've still not got that. I'll have to keep practicing. Patty Flint. Was wondering where you was. Patty, if I'm not on YouTube, it means I'm somewhere else. All the links are below in the description. Telegram every day, Twitter every day, Rumble most days, BitChute most days, my website, The Mark Atwood Show. Every single uncensored video is on that website. Go to these places. Don't live on YouTube. It's good. It's a good service, but it's run by, So if you just live on YouTube, then God, I live everywhere. Hello from Texas, AC. Great, love Texas. Yeah, I really like Texas. I wouldn't mind living there, actually, one day. Donna Maitland, hello. Livewire. Well, Penelope, I'm a little bit of a Livewire today because you know what I did yesterday? Helena Fielding, I did a video with her a few weeks ago called Bioresonance, about bioresonance healing. So she mixes the bioresonance machine and then gets the right homeopathic doodah and then gives you a personalized remedy. A lot of you have taken her up on her free consultation because she says she's busy as BAF, BAF. She's BAF. Yeah, I think that's a new word. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to copyright that. Although copyright, I'm actually thinking about whether I should even put a copyright notice in my new poetry book. Should I do that? Because I don't really care. Where we're going, who gives a fuck about copyright? Yeah, I was also having a dream that I should charge my poetry book. And hopefully I'm launching at the Manchester event on the 15th of April. Nicole is busy as she's Baff. Nicole, who's designing it, is Baff. In fact, she's Baffaf. I don't know if that works, but yeah, she's Baffaf. And yeah, I keep sending her notes and things. Oh, forgot this poem, forgot that one. She's like, oh, Jesus. Because we've got to get it done pretty quickly. Where was I? I was talking about something. What was I talking about? Anybody actually listening to me? Good energy. Oh yeah. So last night, Helena, she helped my son enormously, as did everybody that came to the workshop with Ian Welch. Heal him because he just wasn't. I threw everything at him over 3 weeks, and he was just lethargic and ill, and he was tummy, and he was just not good, and it was quite concerning. But he suddenly healed thanks to the intervention of lots of you and this homeopathic stuff. Anyway, Helen and I were talking about, she said, I'd stop, just go and buy a basic homeopathy set. And I was like, I don't know anything about homeopathy. She said, just go and buy one. And then if you get stuck, you can just ring me and I'll give you the remedy for whatever. So I asked her about something. She said, yeah, you want to try this remedy? I'm going to get it wrong now. I did write it down to somebody. Let me just check it. Some of you probably know what this is. Oh yeah, Nux Vomica. The name should have been. I mean, it sounds like a Star Wars villain. Nux Vomica. It's although that didn't sound like a Star Wars villain. That's kind of my standard God voice. Nux Vomica. Still not quite working, but it doesn't sound good, and it isn't because it's from the strychnine tree. So anyway, because I dove in, and I had it the day before, and it was good, and I had a really good sleep, felt great, energized because energy's being siphoned off into different directions. I didn't know how to turn my brain off. I mean, you'll notice that I do talk. I did a Zoom call on Saturday night. It went on for about 4 hours. I just can't turn it off. But it's, I'm getting to burnout. So I thought I've just got to go to bed, start going to bed earlier, getting up earlier, having my sauna before the school run instead of after the school, stuff like that. So yesterday I thought I'll have another one of them. So I took another one and I sat down. I had about half an hour before I had to do a show. And then suddenly I started going, and I kind of collapsed. And she said, "Yeah, this is a massive reset for your nervous system. Don't do that again." And she said, "You'll be good tomorrow." And today I've just been full of beans. Sorry, Francine, I do talk fast. You're right. Sorry. I'll slow down. The problem is when you're talking to a screen on your own, you go slow. There's all this dead air, and I always feel like I've got to fill the dead air. Anyway, I'm back on YouTube after having my naughty boy. You're a very naughty boy. So yeah. But yeah, what was going to show you? So if you guys ever think, where is he? What's he doing? Just go to Telegram, go to Twitter, go to Rumble. This is Rumble. Here it is. If you're in France, get a VPN. That's a virtual private network. Set it to America or the UK and go to Rumble. Don't say, I haven't got the app. You don't need apps. Go to a website. Here it is. Here's my show. This show here with my Venus mummy, which was great fun. We talked about ETs, Donald Trump, goddesses, how she healed a cancer in 3 weeks. That's a great show. Really go and watch that if you haven't watched it. This is Anyana's, Anyana Science, which is follow-up to the Island Connection to Ascension. Even if you're not from Ireland, go and watch it. It's brilliant. What she's done, her research, her knowledge is mind-blowing. And we've got to do a part 3. I'm going to be uploading this to YouTube this week as well, because I think that's safe from the totalitarian nonsense. This was a good one as well, fighting the system with common law, Andy's story. And I'm not going to put that on YouTube, but you can go and watch it on Rumble, BitChute, and themarkattleshow.com. Lewis Herms, I don't think I'm ever going to put him on YouTube again because he's too good looking and he always gets me banned. So you can go and watch that there if you haven't watched that. If you missed this one as well, FCB Decode, we go on like a house on fire. Brilliant guy doing brilliant work. Really, really good. So there's plenty of videos there to go and elucidate yourself with. Is that a word? I don't know. I've been looking up erudite put downs recently. You know, when people put up things on Twitter and they say, sum this person up in one word, and people go, wanker, idiot, twat. And I'm like, there's got to be better words than that. So I've been going up and calling people like Leo Varadkar a cockwomble. What a great word. Cockwomble. You don't think that's a real word, do you? Well, it is. I'm going to do some more because they're fun. I'm going to get, let's learn some, let's flood the internet with really erudite words instead of the usual shit. I am trying to find the right page for you because I love them. Erudite put downs, erudite insults. That's what we want. Some of you are going, what's erudite mean? It basically just means you're fucking clever. But even fucking clever people need, because these words don't get used enough, you know? You feckless fumbling fool. That's a good one. That sounds Irish. Yeah, they're not all that good. There's a website I found that was really, really funny. Gonna dig it up. Yeah. Uh, uh, uh. Taking me too long. Instead of that, I'll come back to that later. Still, oh, is he enjoying me? Oh my God. No, he hasn't. Ian Clark's supposed to be here. I'm Bendel. Good to see you back, boyo. I love that. Boyo, isn't it? Do you remember that Welsh actor in the 70s with bald head? He was always in things with like Selwyn Froggatt. He was like, hey, boyo. That's all he ever did. It's brilliant. Let's see your sauna. Life is a bowl of cherries. If you're on my email list, you'll have already seen the sauna because I send you an email with a picture of me reading a book in it. And I couldn't live without that sauna. Infrared sauna. I did a whole show on it. There's links below to the infrared sauna. Honestly, the infrared sauna and this thing, I have this on every day. There's a link to this below as well. The Mirror Mate. These is lasers going into my blood and defragmenting it. I've got my electrical Bob Beck thing on order. That's coming hopefully soon. These things do make a difference. They make a massive difference for me, considering all the toxins I've had over the last half a century in this this meat suit. It's becoming more cosmic though. I was just sat out in the garden getting some sun gazing. I put a link up to that yesterday. A good article by Dr. Christiane Northrup, who's messaged me recently and hopefully coming on to do a show. And she did a really good article about sun gazing. And really, I kind of knew about this a few years ago, but the programming took a while to undo because, you get so brainwashed into thinking that you're not supposed to look into the sun. But it's great when you do. And actually, I just did it in the garden just for a couple of minutes. And then I sat down on the bench just to soak up the sun. Excuse me. And then I could see these symbols like hieroglyphics, almost exactly the same as the hieroglyphics I saw in the spaceship that I saw, the big orange triangular one. And it had these hieroglyphic shapes. And I was trying to describe this to my daughter the other day because she's a really good artist. And I'm just saying, look, can I commission you? Because I'm rubbish at drawing. And I know I shouldn't say I'm rubbish at anything, but you know what I mean. I've never really been that interested in it because I haven't really got the patience because I talk too fast, right? I'm good at other things. Don't ask me to put up a shelf. Never ask me to put up a shelf or draw a picture of something that looks like the thing that you're supposed to be drawing. There's two things you should never ask me to do. But ask me to put a website together, no problem. Ask me to talk on YouTube for hours, easy. Mushrooms saved my life. Activated pineal. Yes. Yes. I think they went a great way to saving my life. We're talking about the magic ones here, but all mushrooms, all the good ones anyway, all the ones that don't kill you or eat you. There are some apparently. Anyway, so where was I? I'm waiting for Ian Clark. I'm just going to check my messages, see if he's awake. No, he's not answered WhatsApp. I had a message off Michael Tellinger this morning, which was very exciting because okay, so he's probably in a different time zone or something. So they're trying to find Ian for me. Michael Tellinger. If you don't know Michael Tellinger, go and look up One Small Town. And also look him up on YouTube, Michael Tellinger on YouTube. Let's go and look him up now because I have interviewed him. If you go to themarkoutshowcom, Rumble, BitChute, you'll probably type in Michael Tellinger. You'll find the interview that I did with him last year. I was a little bit awestruck because I've been watching him for years and I love his work. He does so much good work in South Africa. There he is. Uncovering so much stuff about our true history that this is why I was so excited to speak to him when I did. But I spoke to him specifically about one small town because One Small Town is a very, very well thought out solution to our problems that gets rid of centralized government and makes towns economically viable in their own right and self-sustaining and sovereign. And it's just, it's got to catch on. And he said on the message, he's really, really busy because its time has come. And a couple of my friends have just agreed to be ambassadors in Ireland for this concept. And all the towns in Ireland would suit this. The town that I live in has a big river flowing through it, right? And there used to be, until about, I think it was the early 70s, there used to be a wheel that powered the whole town. Of course, the government dismantled that and then put everybody on the grid. And, and this wheel is like 100 years old, maybe more. And there's the engine for it is a monument now in the street. People just drive past it without any comprehension of what it meant. It meant autonomy, energy autonomy, which they took away. They took the same with the water here. This has the worst public water in the world. It's got more chlorine and fluoride in it than Soft Mick. If you don't believe me, go and ask Soft Mick. He's dead now. That's why. Baff is a new poem, Yvonne Harty. Baff rhymes with naff. Yeah. Which some people might say my poems are. Fuck them. Very important to say fuck them, because once you get to the point where you don't care what anybody thinks about you, there's nothing can stop you. Wanda Mackenzie, sun gazer of 10 years. Wow. Tell us a little bit more, Wanda. No wonder hobbits love mushrooms, says from fertility to delivery. Are you calling me a hobbit? I do have very large feet. It took me a long time to get over second breakfast as well. I just have one lunch now. Maybe one dinner. Oh, guys, loads of people here. It's great. Great to see you all. Rhymes with laugh. Susan Jones. Well, it only rhymes with laugh if you're from the north of England, when it's laugh. And there's actually one poem that I wrote where I had to change my accent from southern to northern to make it scan, to make it work. I wonder if you can find that. Probably not. It's just one of those details. Oh yeah, Twitter. I was going to show you Twitter. So Twitter's fun. And join in on Twitter. I know, don't want to be on Twitter. No, get on Twitter. Seriously. It's an exciting place to be at the moment, because although there are people saying, no, I'm still not on and blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of people on there that are saying what they want to say, and it's getting around. So my Twitter is here, twitter.com/Mark Atwood. I opened this account in 2007. Fucking hell. That's 16 years ago. I hardly used it. Mind you, how many tweets have I done? I don't know. 9,000 tweets. Most of those tweets are in the last 3 weeks. This video here, essential to share. Yeah, you can see it's 397,000 shares, 171,000 views. It's an appropriate message for this time. Lovely Kevin Hoyt, the renegade man, the guy who stood for governor of Vermont last year, who's currently on the run. He interviewed Dr. Christiane Northrup, and I can't remember her name. Sorry, can't remember your name. I've met her so many times in America. And anyway, they did a great show, and they talked about this video and the message, because the message of this video is really important. It's about where we go when we go all, really. And if you go on here, I'm testing the free speechness. Am I on there? Right. I'm testing the free speechness. I've said this before, but oh, by the way, there's a show on tonight, premieres in 6 hours. This is an interview I did. This is going on YouTube at 8 o'clock GMT, which is about 3 p.m. Eastern. And this is Judith Milo in Israel. I've called it How to Access the Portal to Heaven. She's a wonderful character, and she speaks the truth. And she's actually from Sirius B, and she came here with a mission, and she's been trying to spread that mission. So I'm helping her spread it in the English-speaking world. She chose me to do it, which is nice of her. So that's on at 8 o'clock this evening, and it's a very positive video. Go and watch that. Oh, this book, Smoke and Mirrors. Now, I've not met Edward Fitzgerald. He's just emailed me, because I emailed him this morning. Thanks, Jackie White, for introducing me to him. This is a compendium to your undoubted and inalienable rights. And I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I've heard it's fantastic. Go and click on the Twitter link and go and have a look, because I think he's selling it for $2.22, which is peanuts. But I'd have done it differently, Edward. I'd have done it like pay what you can afford, but that's just me. Yeah, so this poem here, which obviously I'm not going to play on YouTube because you can see the subtitles there, but go and make this viral, right? Because if you're being distracted by the Matt Hancock stuff, remember they are very, very, very good at sacrificing their own whilst accelerating their agenda when you're looking the other way. They've done this enormous amounts of times, especially with the pedo stuff. There was a guy called McAlpine, Lord McAlpine, and that was. I hope I'm sharing my screen. I am. That was years ago. Yeah, I'll come back to Michael Tellinger. Thanks, Yvonne, for keeping me on track. Jackie K63. Well, get back on Twitter using a different email address. No big deal. I must have heard Hobbit. Yes, you probably did. Oh, somebody keep me on track. I keep going off track. Oh yeah. So Lord McAlpine, years ago. I think he was a member of Thatcher's government, and he was accused correctly of being one of the bad guys. Which one was it? There was a brother. Oh, this is it. Yeah, I'll dig this article up for you. This is what they do, right? I'm gonna get rid of Twitter. No, I don't want to get rid of it completely. Okay, all right. Somebody should train me in how to use StreamYard. This is a good example. So McAlpine here, former Tory party deputy chairman, dies aged 71, who was an aide to Margaret Thatcher, which tells you everything you need to know, right? That whole cabinet, well, every cabinet ever has been full of pedos, has died, his family announced, right? This was on the 18th of January, 2014. Yeah, so if you got Cameron saying nice things about somebody, he's bad as well. Don't forget he did something to a pig's head. Here we go. He was mistakenly embroiled in controversy when he was falsely implicated in the North Wales child abuse scandal after the BBC TV programme accused an unnamed senior Conservative of abuse, which led to widespread innuendo on Twitter that McAlpine was the man implicated. Yeah, he was guilty of sin. He threatened to sue everybody that mentioned his name. So there were some people out there who did. And then he said, "Come on, then sue me." Nothing happened. It's the same as all the people in The Biggest Secret. Have I got it here? I think I've lent it out. But David Icke's book, The Biggest Secret, he named Ted Heath, Prince Philip, Jimmy Savile, named all of them. Never got taken to court. Why? Because and Leon Britton, because they'll put one out, throw one to the wolves, all the wolves go "Arr!" And while that's happening over there, they're over here going, quick, let's go and do this, and they go and do something else that screws up with your rights or your freedoms, or they get more children, whatever they do. That's what they do. It's part of their modus operandi. Don't fall for it. So this stuff with Matt Hancock. On one hand, it's great to see this stuff coming out about him, but don't just keep your wits about you, because you've got to keep when that happens, you've got to go, what else is going on? Have a look around. What's going on with Sunak? What's he pushing? WEF monster. I think they're all actors. That's my honest opinion, my feeling. But we shouldn't give our emotional. This is what the video tonight with Judith is all about. Not giving your emotions away to, your emotional intelligence. You've got to be logical and keep on an even keel. I've talked about this before. The image of Jesus in I Pet Goat 2 being one of the images that I've really found strong over the last few years, for me, 10 years even, especially when all this kicked off. I'll dig it out again for those of you that haven't seen it. Now, it's a very interesting film, and I need to actually revisit it in depth because I've not watched it fully for quite a long time, but it's packed, absolutely ram-packed. I've actually asked, Adam, the illusion guy, I've talked to him about it, and I've asked him to decode it. Well, I mentioned that maybe you should decode it, and he said, yeah, it's a good idea. So this is the film. It's an amazing piece of animation, but right at the end, here we go. I don't know how much of this I can play without getting copyright bollocks, but here's it's just that image of Jesus just being zen while everything's crashing around. I find that very useful. You might not, but I do. So knock yourself out if you want to go and watch that. It's really interesting. Yeah, Tammy, that's something I'm learning in this journey, to control my emotions and especially not to take things personally. It's so interesting how a lot of us have been through this this kind of learning, and we do it in different ways. And so I've learned in the last year or so that I'm claircognizant. I didn't even know what that word meant, but loads of stuff just sort of appears in my head, and then I start talking about it, or I just know to do something. When I was in the not the crop circle, the stone circle with Gillian England, I just knew there's something blocking stuff over there. Off you go, and I just went, and I was like, this is really, it's getting more like a flexed muscle, and the big one I got in the last year was boundaries. I've always been terrible with boundaries. I've always been tried to please everybody. When I was in the Air Force, I got a bad review from one of my flying instructors once, who said I was I can't think of the word now. It meant I was too eager to please. I can't remember what the word is. Yeah, and especially when drinks involved, I want to please everybody. I'm always I'm famous for being at the bar, buying rounds of drinks for everybody. I'm not doing that anymore. If you see me in Manchester or wherever, no, buy your own fucking drinks. Yeah, I've interviewed Jason Q loads of times. Mark Oxlong. Go home and look at my back catalogue. He's a good friend of mine. I did the tour in America with him. I look, all the interviews that I do, I don't chase the numbers ever, really. I just go with my intuition. And if somebody's out there being interviewed by tons of people, why would I want to bring them on here? Because they're saying this, otherwise they're just saying the same thing again and again and again, just on different channels. I like to find people that you haven't seen before, like Judith tonight. None of you have heard of her. Go and watch her. That's what you should be doing. There's lots of names out there in this movement that I haven't spoken to. And it's divine timing as well. When I interviewed Michelle Fielding, I've been a big fan of Michelle's for 3 years, and we've actually communicated quite a lot over the last couple of years, here and there. And I was like, why haven't we done a show together? And it was just the right time. And when I did that interview, it was really well received by 60,000 plus people who said, wow, that was the first time I've actually seen Michelle talk. And I was like, well, that's good. Maybe it was time for that, because normally she's with Nick Veniamin giving downloads and reading her notes and stuff. And it was great to see that human side to her. And I was very pleased to be part of that. And that's what I try to do with, so don't just come because there's a big name on. Jason's brilliant. He's an amazing decoder and researcher and a lovely, lovely, funny human being. And he'll reach out to me when he's ready, and I'll reach out to him. That's how it works. Yeah, Francine. Yes, I was with Jason Q. Yeah, in Florida, Clearwater. That was the gig. Yeah, that was the gig where I got told off for swearing too much. I'll never forget it. So back to Michael Tellinger. Now, if you've not seen his work, there's a couple of things you should really go and look at, because this is one of my heroes, right? Here's his YouTube channel, and a lot of he took banks in South Africa to court over their mortgage con. He came up with One Small Town, which is a fantastic. Go and have a look into it. He's uncovered stone circle ruins, and the stuff about the Anunnaki in South Africa. He found Adam's calendar, which is the biggest stone circle kind of clock in the world, I think it's 2 cities with bigger footprints than London in the undergrowth. Advanced technology, stones that ring like bells, which can levitate things. One of my favorite videos of his was, if I type in the 6-foot granite footprint, because I am heavily obsessed with, there you go, heavily obsessed with giants right now.
Yes.
Look, there he is, next to a 6-foot, well, nearly 6-foot footprint in granite. I think it's in granite. Oh, this is on Bosnian Pyramids TV. I was discussing with Anna in Bali this morning about the fact that Croagh Patrick in Ireland, I think, she thinks it's a pyramid. So do I, because I was dropping my boys off at a summer camp last year, and you drive down this road, and it's like pyramid. It's a pyramid. Doesn't matter. You go for about 10 miles around it. It's pyramid, and then get to the other side, mountain. But it's definitely a pyramid. And if it is, it's about 4 times bigger than the Bosnian pyramids. But this is Michael. There's the big footprint in South Africa. Go and have a look at his stuff. Absolutely brilliant. And one small town, I should pull that up. It's worth mentioning again because amongst all the noise, that's the wrong. Trying to find his domain. Amongst all the noise that's out there at the moment, I personally believe the white hats are in complete control of the whole thing. And when I say the white hats, I mean God, because I think it's all the same. Q, white hats, God, you and me that are awake, we're all part of God. And there is this waking up process going on. And if you look at it, it's working. You know, how many people have got regret over this right now? I know that from just if you go and view the comments on the Twitter video that I showed you earlier, the regret about it is going through the roof. And then you've got the stuff in the mainstream with Hancock and stuff like that, you know, and stuff coming out in the States. Did you see the video I put up this morning that showed the QAnon warrior with the horns being given a guided tour of Congress as he was taken in and shown around? You know, that's previously unreleased footage. It's all timing. They're dropping this stuff out, which proves that the whole insurrection thing was bullshit. But then you have to give the human race a few days and weeks to assimilate, or, you know, like Cliff High kind of talks about, to pull this information in and then make their own decisions, because you can't shout at people. That's what we've all learned. You cannot shout, wake up. I tried it with my poem, Wake the Fuck Up. You know, and I look back on it and it starts off with the line, okay, dear sheeple, you've had your fun. Now shit's about to get real. All that stuff you thought you knew the deal. Something like that. And it was like kind of taking the piss out of them a bit. But now I have a different perspective on it, because now it's all about compassion, and it's about understanding what where we go, when we go all means. What does it mean? You know, because we're all in the middle of this stuff where we're being told that, you know, by people like me, actually, that 75% of the people on this planet are NPCs, possibly not even human. The reptilians are everywhere. That we're going to see. I was just watching Linda Paris on Rumble, talking to Christian 21, which I think is interesting stuff. Don't dismiss anything. I keep an open mind to all of it. I don't go, yeah, this is 100%, that's 100%. I'm like, that's interesting. That resonates. That doesn't, you know. And you put it all together, you know, and go, and then put your own, because the way that you react to everything is really a reflection of where you are spiritually. You know, if you're somebody that goes on about the QFS all day long, gold and silver, AMC shares and XRP, well, you know, you're a greedy bastard. Just saying. That's what it's telling you where you're at spiritually. That's the mirror. I'm more pragmatic. I'll go, yeah, I'll have a bit of this, bit of that, bit of this, bit of that, whatever I can do at the time. And I go, right, I've covered my bets. It's kind of arbitrage for me. It's like, well, if this happens, then I've got this, that could go that way. If it doesn't happen, I lose that, I'm not dead. Do you see what I mean? That's my approach. You take your own approach. It's, you know, I'm not here to lecture anybody. I'm just discussing. Fracala, Mark, Yehudi Mel is amazing. Love her insights. Oh, you've heard of her? Good. Because I got a call from Isaac, one of her students and friends, last week who said she'd seen me on a video and said, "I need to talk to him." And she said something very interesting about me right at the end of the video. Um, just said that they saw me in a dream. Angel Star Mystic. You have to tell I have to tell you about the dream I had with you, and it marks so interesting. I think maybe to leave the dreams at sorry, supposed to tell you about yeah, well, right, tell us. Send me an email. Ian Clark with Mark, I would appreciate your videos. Cheryl. Well, Ian's not turned up, Cheryl. Sorry. He's never not turned up before. I don't know what it is. I'm going to go and check my email. No, I don't think they can get hold of him. Apparently he's in the States, but it's on his calendars. He's probably stuck in a meeting. I mean, this guy's very busy with, and by the way, I think we were going to talk about this new thing that he's invented, which is Perfect K2 MK7, because I got this last week, and this is it's vitamin K2, but he's, how he's obsessed with optimizing things for maximum effects. Well, this supports bone health and calcium absorption, and that's a major thing. There was a website when I first started digging into all this stuff about everything being alive called milksucks.com. I wonder if that's still there. I've put a link underneath this video for Ian's stuff if you want to go and have a look at that. Milksucks.com. I bet it's not there anymore. That's interesting. It's just a load of words there right now. But it was a really great website which showed you how bad milk really is. And not milk, natural milk, but what they do to milk, what they do to food. This is why I talk to the red pill guys so much about the carnivore diet, and don't start doing all the vegan crap. I can't. Drives me nuts. Don't stop being offended by things. Fucking hell, haven't we got past being offended? But anyway, the carnivore thing. I think the main thing for me with the meat only stuff is it's about what you're not eating, because they've doctored everything for a long time. The vegetables, the fruits. I mean, things you get in supermarkets, you cannot trust them. If it grows off a tree and you see the tree and you know where it's been and there's been no chemtrails and no crap, great, go and eat it. But and don't go on about, it's too expensive to go and find organic meat. There's a farm near everybody. Go to see the farmer. Ask them how they do it. Ask them, and they'll give you. What do you think they eat? I mean, there's an expression. It's like with our pets, right? I've fallen for this as well, because I was never a pet owner, and I acquired a cat. So I just sort of unthinkingly went to the supermarket and started buying cat food. And then I was like, hang on, what am I doing? This is no good. This is no good for this gorgeous creature. And then met Catherine Edwards, and she's saying, no, you got to do it like this, that, and the other. I'm like, of course I have. So, what did Midnight have for dinner last night? Nicely small cuts of raw organic chicken, because that's what they're designed to eat. Like my mum's dogs were getting really fat and arthritis and everything. I was like, Mum, give them raw food. I can't afford it. Well, what would you rather? You're giving them biscuits. How much do they cost? Well, I don't know. It's the cognitive dissonance is unbelievable. I'm not attacking vegans, Heidi, for fuck's sake. It happens every time. As soon as I mention the word, I'm not attacking vegans, right? I never have. Veganism is the problem. And what is on the food, the GMO, the pesticides, the crap in the ground, the lack of nitrates, the lack of anything in them. The body sees these vegetables that we buy in the supermarkets as poison. But I just said, if you grow them yourself, you've got providence over them, knock yourself out. But look up the word oxalate before you do. That's all I'm saying. I know you do, Heidi, but not as bad as carnivores. You don't get attacked anywhere near as much as carnivores. We're like the devil. Yeah, it's adrenochrome. I'm not eating that. That's poor soul in my body. I'll tell you a story. I went on this. I might have told this before, so I apologize if I have. But I went on a peyote ceremony in a wigwam on a ley line in Glastonbury. A guy called Qualty, Mexican chief. Peyote is this flower from a cactus plant that's part of Native American culture forever. And I don't know how I ended up there, but I ended up in this field. And I drove into the field in my Jaguar with my big important watch. And I was like, what am I doing here? But it was all part of my journey. Anyway, I got there, met these amazing people, did this ceremony, changed my perspective on nature and life enormously. And in the morning, we had a feast, and part of that feast was there was a lot of melon and fruit and nuts and stuff like that, which was great. I was vegan for years, Heidi, and the buffalo. We were eating buffalo. I think it was buffalo. It was a big cow anyway. And these vegan people that I knew, they're eating the buffalo, and I was like, "What are you doing? What gives, man?" And they're like, "Oh, no, it's okay because we are actually designed to eat meat." And I was like, "But you've just been lecturing me." One of the guys that was doing it had lectured me for 7 days solid, 2 hours. So he'd give me 14 hours of lectures on a fasting retreat where he'd convinced me to go raw vegan, which I did. And I felt great for a while, but then I was like getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And then the meat had to come back in for me. And I've done the eat right for your type diet. I've done every diet going. But anyway, enough about diet. I don't want to get involved in the debate. Colleen says, "I love bison." Do you? Where does he go? Does he drink in the local bar? Did you marry a guy called Bison? Do you, Colleen, take Bison Stanserich to be your lawful wedded husband? Yes, they do. Oxalate. I'm still talking about food. Sorry. Oxalates are poison, basically. Vegetables don't want to be eaten either. But don't take my word for it. Do your own research. I'm just a bloke with a gob. Don't get upset with me. Just I'm teaching you what I've learned. I'm not teaching you. I'm sharing what I've learned through anecdotes and hopefully half decent poems. So back to Twitter, because Twitter is an exciting place right now. Yeah, so this is gonna. So I posted this morning, 1,700 views. I want to get this to 10 million, 100 million, because this will wake people up with humor, right? Which is important. And I'm just making the point that I did try to warn them about Matt and Gang over 2 years ago in this video. And it's funny because it's not really a poem. It was just me one night after a couple of beers going, "I'm fucking fed up with these bastards." And I just did this thing based on Derek and Clyde. If you don't hear of Derek and Clyde, let's go and have a look, because somebody spotted that this morning. And Derek and Clive, not Clyde. God. That was Peter Cook and Dudley Moore from 1960, a long time ago. I've been doing a Dudley Moore impression for about the last 50 years. While I was walking down the street the other day, I saw a house on fire. For there was a man shouting and screaming out of a multi-story window. For he was so afraid. "Jump! You fucker, jump! Jump into the sea of blanket rolled up beneath you, and you'll be all right." So he jumped, hit the deck, broke his fucking neck. There was no blanket. Kind of like that. Get me drunk, I'll sing that all night. Yeah, so Derek and Clive. This is it. This bloke.
You fucking cunt.
It's probably language is too bad for YouTube, but it's not. It's on YouTube. I can play it.
Jesus Christ! I said you fucking cunt.
Yeah.
I said like.
I'm not going to play it all. Go and watch it at your own leisure. But most of you will recognize Dudley Moore because he became a heartthrob sex symbol in films like 10 and what was that one way? Alfred? No. He played the rich guy who was pissed all the time. Arthur. Peter Cook was a bit of a genius. I bumped into him once in Hampstead. He was very dishevelled on the way to the pub. I should write a poem about Peter Cook. It was a magical moment. It was like I got a letter off Spike Milligan once. That was one of the greatest moments of my life. And there was a comment on one of Tom's videos from his daughter the other week, and I was like, "Whoa!" I think it's Jane Milligan. Hello, Jane, if you're watching. Loved your dad and you. You're a brilliant actress. So I've seen. Anyway, no Ian Clark today. I just wanted to I thought, well, if Ian's not turning up, I'll just have a chat with everybody. Because I've not been on YouTube in a week, and keep chipper because it is. I'm still very optimistic. I think it is. This is March Madness. The video I did with FCB Decode. I think this is the madness March Madness of Q Drop fame. So hold on to your hats, because what we're going to see is going to be quick, I think. But I'm not giving dates. I'm not doing that kind of thing. I should tell you also, I am live on a network, which I hope some of you have heard of, the Patriot Party News Network, right? Which is over on Rumble. And I am on at 5 o'clock today, which is in 2 hours, which will be live. And I'll just see if you're on my email list, the link is in the description. I did send a link showing you this the other day. There's a guy called Chaz Carter runs this, who's a lovely guy who I met in Nashville on my day trip to Nashville. There you go. That's the last one I did 6 days ago. 9 people disliked it. Fuck you, 9 people. And it's live, and there's no censorship, so it's a little bit. I'm quite enjoying it because I'm being a little bit wilder than I am on here, and hopefully funnier, but also full of love for all of you. So thank you very much for watching. Take care. Have a lovely afternoon, whatever time of day it is where you are, and see you soon.